watching the SEC on ESPN on a cold night on the Capstone. We continue what's been a great day of college basketball from Coleman Coliseum here in Tuscaloosa. Tennessee and Alabama been two of the best teams in all of college basketball over the last 5 years. They get set to renew this battle on the hardwood here in a matter of moments, but that man has been the topic of conversation all week around college basketball. And a pleasant good evening, everybody. I'm Dave Neal. Charles Bediako, certainly, if you didn't know his name, say on Monday, you probably know it now, because this young man who played at Alabama for 2 years, went undrafted, went to the NBA, thought he was going to get drafted back in 2023. He spent the last 2.5 years playing in the G League. Well, with the landscape of college basketball now, he had some eligibility left, wanted to come back to the Crimson Tide. The NCAA said no, so he sued, won a temporary restraining order giving him 10 days before he has to go back in front of a judge. But for now, he gets to play tonight. We'll see what happens after Tuesday, whether or not he plays the rest of the season. Dave Neal alongside Richard Hendricks, former SEC legend and All-American. Ultimately, what does this mean for Alabama in terms of moving forward on the court?
Well, it gives Alabama a little bit more support in their front line. Charles Bediako is a big-time defender down low, rim protecting and rebounding is what he brings to the table. I don't look to see him bring a lot of technical skills down low offensively, but he'll do his work on the defensive end. Well,
he'll be posted up down low, but this game will probably be determined on the perimeter. We have two of the best guards in all of college basketball tonight, LeBaron Philon of Alabama and Jacoby Gillespie of Tennessee.
Well, these are two elite-level guards, and they're going to have to make sure that they bring their A game, starting with Jacoby Gillespie. He's a do-it-all guard who can create for himself and for others. But tonight on the road in Tuscaloosa, he'll have to make sure he has a clean game in running the show. And for Alabama, LeBaron Philon is a dynamic playmaker. He leads the conference in scoring, in the top 5 in field goal percentage and in assists. He's big down the clutch, and he'll have to have that leadership tonight.
Both these guys can certainly put the ball in the basket, but they're also good at helping out their teammates. They rank both top 5 in the conference in assists. Philon at almost 5. Meanwhile, Gillespie at 5.5, second in the Southeastern Conference. And Philon's going to have to carry the load tonight. He's going to be without his backcourt mate, and Aiden Holloway, who is out with an injury. He's over there in Alabama Sweats tonight. We also found out Amari Allen, the talented true freshman, not going to play tonight as well. He's banged up. So kind of a limited roster for Nate Oates tonight against this Tennessee team that's in a desperate mode for win, 2-3 in league play.
Well, really big for Alabama to not have two of their leaders out with Holloway and Allen. And Philon will have to handle it all in the backcourt for the Tide.
Boy, a classic case of great defense against tremendous offense. Tennessee has won 4 straight in this series. Boswell gets it over to Gillespie. They'll swing it to the corner. Ament, the talented, uber-talented freshman. JP Estrella hands it back to Ament, and he knocks it home from the free throw line.
That's a really good start right there for Tennessee. You're going to see them work the ball around in the half-court set from side to side. Ament in the mid-range.
See the starting lineup. Aiden Sherrill, Taylor Bowen gets the start tonight. Houston Millett, who had a great second half in the win over Oklahoma last weekend. Really a catalyst for Alabama in the starting lineup here tonight. Reitzel, who's missed some time. He's been banged up, but he certainly is on the floor ready to go. Nate Oates saying he was eager to get on the floor.
Well, that's a tough shot right there by Latrell Reitzel. A really good defensive effort. This Tennessee team under Rick Barnes has been known for their defensive identity. This year has not been as strong defensively, but tonight could be the day that they could get it done.
Estrella will jump hook. So JP making his first start of his career tonight. Gets on the board early.
Really good job by Estrella, taking his time in the low post and coming over that left shoulder with a lot of extension on the jump hook.
Bowen, the transfer from Florida State, goes baseline, and the reverse layup won't go, but an easy rebound. Reitzel now takes it in, little floater, he's got it.
Really good patience right there by Latrell Reitzel. He saw the closeout of Ament, used that shot fake, gets all the way to the cup.
This Tennessee team has lost 3 of their last 5. Those 3 losses to Arkansas, Florida, and Kentucky. Neither team played a midweek game, so they've had a chance to get their legs under them. Philon Loose ball underneath, kicks it back out. Reitzel tries for three, and that one won't drop. Timeout. Houston Millette saves the possession for Alabama. We'll step aside, tied at 4, 17:41 to go. Opening moments from Coleman Coliseum. There is NATO. It's hard to believe it's already 7 years now at Bama. 158-68, 11th year overall, and he has been nothing but successful wherever he's been, whether Buffalo or here in Tuscaloosa. Back-to-back Elite Eights. You could say the same for Tennessee. Back-to-back Elite Eights.
Well, both of these teams have been at the top of the SEC with two well-coached teams.
There is Rick Barnes, his 11th year at Tennessee. 39th year overall. Second most wins among active Division I coaches, trailing John Calipari by a single win. Bishop Boswell just picked up that foul. That'll be his first. Byron Jarrett telling Bo Bowen, tuck that jersey in, clean that up.
Yeah, that's something you want to definitely do before the game gets going. But this is a game that you can see it's going to be a lot of physicality on the perimeter with the guard play. Tennessee making sure that they're going to be very, very disruptive at the point of attack in these ball screen actions.
LeBaron Philon in his 22 points a game with the basketball in his hands. Philon trying to get it down low. That didn't work. They'll kick it back out. Reitzel shot clock at 3. His little floater is good. Boy, he is off to a fantastic start. 6 points to get this one going.
Well, he's done a really good job. The pressure of Tennessee has forced Alabama to operate well outside the operational area. But Latrell Reitzel finding some success with the floaters in the mid-range.
Crowd getting on their feet. Charles Bediako getting up to the scorer's table. Alabama up by 2. Tapped around and finally converted.
You can see Aiden Sherrill, and the big man for Alabama has been much more productive as of late, taking a big step forward in his game.
Gillespie misses that 3. Second chance opportunity now for Tennessee. JP Estrella, a little jump hook is good. So JP, a couple of baskets early.
Estrella is finding some success. He's getting over that left shoulder with the jump hook. If you're Alabama, you want to try to send him to the weak hand as Philon draws the foul.
Boswell picks up his second foul, but that's the story right now. Number 14, Charles Bediako. It has been 2.5 seasons since he donned the Alabama jersey. He will wait to sub in along with London Jemison. And here he comes. Listen to this ovation for Charles. It is crazy to think where we are in college basketball, that a guy that left here in 2023 thinking he had a chance to get drafted, went undrafted, but has played 2.5 years in the G League, had a 2-way contract with the Spurs, is now back in college.
Absolutely, and the times have changed. And You talked with Nate Oates. He talked about the opportunity of adding Charles Bediasco to the roster after he's seen it happen with other professionals in the collegiate game. But the question for me will be, how will he be impactful in this game for Alabama after playing on the professional ranks?
Phylon misses that out of bounds. It'll stay with Alabama. That'll get us to our under 16 timeout. Alabama leading by 2. More on Charles Bediasco when we come back. Bediasco went undrafted in that 23 NBA draft after 2 years at Alabama. But this is what it looked like when he was wearing the Crimson Tide uniform.
Well, he was impactful, and his length on the inside made a big difference for Alabama on both ends of the court. He's an offensive rebounder and a rim protector, and he gets his offensive points in the screen roll action and alley-oops up top.
Look at his career at Alabama and what he did in the 2.5 seasons in the G League. Remember, he finished up his last game with Motor City was in Birmingham on Saturday. Last Saturday, he was actually in the area, but flew back to Detroit with his club. And then, obviously, things kind of happened on Tuesday when he got the temporary restraining order and made his way here to Alabama. And here he goes! Charles Bediasco, welcome back!
And a beautiful design play for Alabama coming out of that break. Bediasco with a great screen, which takes up a lot of the attention, and he slips to the basket for the jam.
Well, you saw that coming a mile away. You about broke my arm. Last touch by Tennessee.
Look at this screen by Bediasco, and it takes all the attention out to the corner, slips right to the basket in a beautiful bounce pass by Latrell Reitzel. Bediasco already in the books.
That didn't take long. Foul against Tennessee. That's going to go against Dwayne Brown, the second, the true freshman from just down the road in Hoover, Alabama. But boy, he has been fantastic. Really a pleasant surprise for Rick Barnes and this Tennessee team.
Yes, he has. He's been a really good player after a successful high school career. He's come right in, jumped into the starting lineup for Tennessee, and been successful early on. He's got a tough assignment tonight, as he's going to be playing against a veteran. He's already drawn 1 foul on him.
Here's Phylon, turns the corner. Gets it to Bediasco underneath. A couple of touches, a couple of baskets.
Well, he set that up with some really good screen roll action, and it was his speed in which he rolled to the basket that created the separation and a pinpointed pass up top.
Ament goes strong. He gets fouled. He'll head to the free throw line.
A good strong drive by Ament to draw the foul, but on the other side at 7 feet, throwing it at the rim is Phylon, and Bediasco with the soft hands and the finish around the rim.
That foul on Taylor Bowen. That'll be his first. Nate Ament. Already a three-time SEC Freshman of the Week, averaging 15.5 points, over 6 rebounds a game. This guy has been just fantastic. Talking to Rick Barnes about him, you knew he was getting a good player, but really the whole package has been just maybe a little bit better than what he anticipated.
Well, he's really starting to settle in, and he's had high expectations coming in as an elite freshman recruit. A lot of Kevin Durant comparisons, and if that's obviously something of high standards. If Rick Barnes, coach Kevin Durant, was one of the top players in the country, National Player of the Year in his 1 year. But Amen is starting to settle into his own form, and he's really made a difference for the Vols.
He's been playing really well lately. Last 3 SEC games, 19 points, 5 rebounds on average. Up high, Bediako couldn't get his grip on it. Ethan Burke. It to Ament. And welcome to Coleman Coliseum. Alabama and Tennessee, two of the premier college basketball teams over the last 5 seasons. But the story beyond the two clubs on the court is that man, Charles Bediako, after 2.5 seasons playing in the G League and a 2-way contract with the Spurs, received a temporary restraining order on Tuesday by a judge here in Alabama, giving him an opportunity at least for 10 days before he can try to get a preliminary injunction to play the rest of the season. He's playing tonight, and it didn't take long for him to be a factor.
Yeah, he's been impactful. He came right into the game and got into some baseline out-of-bounds plays and some screen roll action. 2 finishes at the rim for Bediako. He's making his presence felt early.
LeBaron Philon.
Alabama with 2 really good bigs in the game with Aiden Sherrill and Bediako. And you can see there's a nice move on the baseline by the freshman London Jemison. A shifty move with the reverse lay.
6'8", 200-pounder out of Connecticut. Here's Ament handling the basketball at 6'10". Dumps it off to Jalen Carey.
Tennessee has been successful with some physical and spirited post-ups early on in this game. It may be the recipe for them to be successful, to pound it in the paint.
Kick it back out. Bethea misfires, and a loose ball foul against Alabama. So my question about Bediako certainly is, obviously he's been playing basketball, but he just met some of these guys 2 days ago on this team. In terms of getting in the flow of what they're doing offensively, does it take a while? Will it take a while? Or because he's been in the system, it is second nature?
Well, I think you're spot on. He's been in the system and played for Nate Oates. And if you're going to make sure you're going to be effective from a coaching standpoint, you'll put him in situations to succeed. Simple screen roll sets and baseline out-of-bounds opportunities and plays that he knows. And they've been able to dial up some of those actions early on, and he's been successful. But when you have the experience that he has, then you'll be able to find your way pretty quickly and make adjustments.
Well, he'll take a seat out after about a 3-minute run. Ament misfires, gets it back, takes it to the logo, it hangs in the air. That won't drop. Boy, had a good look at it. Rebound right into the hands of Aiden Sherrill. Noah Williamson.
Philon with the switch on the perimeter that he wants right now with Carey.
Williamson for 3 out of the corner. Carey that rebound.
That's one, if you're Alabama and you have the isolation with Philon on Carey, you want to spread it out and let him operate as the leading scorer in the SEC.
The tap. It will be waved off. Goaltending. Akpara didn't let it come off that cylinder.
That was a close one, as Akpara felt like it might have started to come out of the cylinder. Great hang time by Jacoby Gillespie. And you can see it's a close one right there as Akpara gets the tip on it. And ball back to Alabama.
This Alabama team averaging 93 points a game, second in the SEC, behind Georgia. Williamson kicks it back. Millett around the perimeter. Reichel now gets it to Bethea. A rebound, Carey. Off the window, nice little run out by the Vols. Amari Evans.
Strong finish by Amari Evans. Went right into the chest of Sherrill and finished with a soft touch off the glass. And Tennessee's being really good on closeouts and helping in the gaps.
And a big foul carry just hammers Sherrill. That'll send Sherrill to the free throw line. Alabama leading it by 4 as they have yet to make a 3.
Yeah, a really good job by Tennessee getting out in transition, and Amari Evans with a strong move in the paint.
A lot of talk about Charles Bediako, but we cannot overlook these 2 guards we're seeing tonight.
Well, these are 2 elite guards. Now, they're off to a slow start in this game, but they can heat up quickly. Jacoby Gillespie will have to be huge, and he'll have to have a clean game. But you see Phylon, the leading scorer in the SEC, and a top 5 facilitator. I look for these 2 guys to pick up their play to make a major impact.
You see the numbers, 5th in the scoring for Gillespie. Of course, Phylon leads, and then they're both top 5 in assists as well. They are the catalyst. Their teams kind of go how they go. But so far, Phylon's not doing very well. 0 for 3 from the floor. Gillespie 0 for 1. Just 1 shot for him. It was a 3-pointer. And the story to me early anyway is the fact that Alabama, who shoots the 3 more than anybody and makes more than anybody in college basketball, has yet to make a 3, and they're winning the points in the paint 14-4.
Alabama's had some success in their ball screen action. And now with 2 bigs in the game, Tennessee has to respect the finishers in the dunker spot. Another foul drawn. Tennessee with a side out of bounds opportunity.
Phylon picks up his first foul. Here's Gillespie. Shot clock down to single digits. Evans tripped up with 0.8 on the shot clock. That foul's going to go against Latrell Reitzel.
Alabama with really good defense in that possession to the last second. Been a little too physical as the shot was going to be attempted, but it looks like a baseline out of bounds opportunity. And a good chance for Tennessee to see if they can dial something up for an easy basket.
Estrella got his first start tonight in a Tennessee uniform. Hit both his shots. He's been posting up in the paint, but he'll settle back in the backcourt here and get it to Gillespie. Amari Abram, the senior transfer, runs right into Williamson. Shot clock again down to 5. Gillespie, deep 3, no good. Tapped around and won by Sherrill.
Tennessee's been really good at fighting over these off-ball screens.
Reitzel got it.
That shot was created with LeBaron Phylon got a full head of steam coming off that handoff. And a good shooter in Reitzel spotted up in the corner.
Reitzel with 9 points. Amen. Guarded by Millett. Had it poked out of there by Reitzel. Estrella kicks it in the corner. Too strong on that 3. Phylon chases it down.
A really excellent job by Latrell Reitzel being active in the gaps, forcing tough shots for Tennessee.
Reitzel, who's missed the last 3 conference games because he's banged up, gets the start tonight, and rewarding his coach for that decision with 9 points on 4 of 5 from the field. Charles Bediako about to make another appearance. London Jiminson, Taylor Bowen also checking in, and Amari Abram picks up the foul. That'll be his first.
Bediako scored on the last baseline out of towns opportunity for Alabama. Nate Oates was able to dial up some really good action to get him freed.
Reitzel working on Estrella. JP holding his own for the moment. Reitzel trying to go up and under, and a foul on Estrella.
I thought that was really good defense right there by JP Estrella. Moved his feet really well against a shifty guard, and at the last moment, well, Reitzel tries to step through. The bump right there as he got his hand down in the forearm right there into the body is the reason for the foul. That's where you got to lean on your fundamentals and keep your hands vertical after he did a great job of staying in front of the guard.
What a big Monday doubleheader we have for you on ESPN and, of course, the ESPN app. The only games of the night in the ACC and Big 12. Wooden Award frontrunner Cameron Boozer leads number 5 Duke. They host Ryan Conwell and number 23 Louisville. At Cameron Indoor at 7th. Then Coa-Pete and undefeated number 1 Arizona in Provo, taking on A.J. Devonsa and number 13 BYU. What a night.
Top-notch talent going on in that game. Cameron Boozer coming off a 32-point performance his last outing, and A.J. Devonsa will play against the top team in the country. 43 points in his last outing. Those will be 2 really good games to watch.
Gillespie lines up another deep 3. This one again off the mark. Tapped around a couple of times. Good work there from Okpara. Ament, 6 points. Goes strong to the basket. That's what I love about watching Nate Ament. He is not afraid. Even though he is just a freshman, first go-round in this league, which is so physical, as you well know, but he takes it right to the defense.
And you can see his confidence is starting to grow, and that's a spirited drive right there into the body of shot blockers. And the way he was able to take the contact and still get a quality shot up at the rim shows the level of his talent.
Well, in his last 3 in the league, kind of show his growth a little bit, averaging 19 points, 5 rebounds. Coming off 17 points, 5 boards against Kentucky in that tough loss for the Volunteers. Only had 7 field goal attempts. I think that's something, you know, that I guess as a young player, maybe you come in and you don't want to take the 15 to 20 shots a game. But a guy like him, I would think you would want him taking 15.
Well, the confidence will grow, and you can see it. And usually at this point in the season, for freshmen that have that ability of talent, you'll start to see a switch to flip, and that he'll start to believe he's the number 1 option and the alpha on the team, and that could be really good for Tennessee moving forward.
Run out, here's Gillespie in front of the field. He will lay it up and in. That'll be goaltending. Count the basket. Taylor Bowen got a hand on it, but off the backboard. Tennessee 6 of 16 to start this one. Alabama 8 of 17. Teams have combined to go 1 for 10 from behind the arc.
Really good pressure defense right there by Boswell.
Ament with a push. A 5-star, top 5 player in the country.
After drawing the foul, going to the line, shoot 1 and 1. It's a big opportunity for him to get into the flow of the offense. A talented player that can do so many things with his physical tools.
Misfires. Tennessee down 6. The Volunteers on the year averaging 82 points a game. That is 12th in the league. Don't have to go back very far. That might have led the league. Corner 3 is good. Gillespie rips it from the corner.
That was a beautiful job right there by Tennessee. They executed their offense well. And Phylon trying to cut the screen. Gillespie fades to the corner and gets freed up.
Phylon lost the handle on the way up with that one. Bediako with the block shot starts the run out. That's what he can do.
Well, a beautiful job And Bediako with the rejection, but you see LeBaron Philon turning on the Jets in transition to come up with that ball and throwing it up top for the alley-oop.
With the dunk on the other end off the assist from Philon.
Bediako making his impact felt with the rejection, and then Philon turning on the Jets and finds Bethea up top for the alley-oop. Beautiful look for Alabama.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Subaru. Love, it's what makes Subaru, Subaru.
16 points in the paint for Alabama early on, and they've been active with the big man Charles Bediako. The physicality and effort on the offensive board. Beautiful design plays on the baseline out of bounds and getting out in transition for easy alley-oops. Alabama has been effective early on by attacking the rim.
Yeah, I didn't see this coming in terms of points in the paint, but it's 16-6 for Alabama in that department, and nobody shoots more threes in the country than Alabama. They make over 12 a game. They have just one to this point with 7:22 to go in the opening half.
Well, you know they're going to make sure that they get up threes in a high volume. But having Bediako's presence has opened up some driving lanes, as you have to respect his lob threat ability from rotating over. And a big shot right there by the freshman, Nate Amon.
Amon averaging 15 points a game. 27% behind the arc this year. That's his 21st make. Alley-oop to Bediako. Philon with the assist.
Well, they're starting to get a little bit of a connection. And many times you're looking to see how will Bediako adjust to playing with his new teammates. But it's the teammates adjusting to playing with him. He understands how to screen, roll, and finish at the basket with the pick and roll lobs.
Gillespie hangs in the air. It tapped around a couple of times. A foul against Tennessee. I think Carey's going to pick that up.
See LeBaron Philon manipulating that screen roll. They come off two screens with a popper and a roller. The defense gets confused, and Bediako slips right to the rim in a pinpointed pass from Philon.
Nate Oates loves it. You know, talking to Bediako today, you could tell he was really excited. Had kind of that nerve. He had a feel of like nervous energy, like he was ready to go. And, you know, I think he realized how many people had been talking about him and his situation for the last few days. And I think he just wanted to get on the court because, as he said to us, he just loves basketball.
Well, I think for him and for the rest of the team, it's a situation that many of them have blocked out. And he understands that there's a lot of attention on him. But you playing 3 years in the G League, you get an opportunity to play in a place that he was really successful from a team standpoint. And I think he really wants to be a part of a team that has an opportunity to win.
Park. Back out to Boswell. He fires and makes it. That's a two.
That's beautiful work right there by Bishop Boswell. It took his time when he pulled up off that one bounce pull-up.
Tennessee going to try to string together a couple of defensive stops here, but it's going to be hard with Bediako just catching these alley-oops from LeBaron Philon.
Philon has been handling these pick-and-roll situations magnificently, and he put that one right at the corner of the square in the soft hands of Bediako to finish.
Estrella set a great screen for Boswell.
Well, Tennessee is playing really well right now. And they've been effective, clearly, with pulling up with shots in the mid-range, not challenging the shot blocking, and they've been effective in shooting them with a lot of confidence.
Little floater, that one no good from Reitzel, trying to keep it alive. Last touch by Tennessee. He's going to stay with Alabama.
I'd look to see in these situations as Alabama likes to get a lot of the traffic flowing towards the outside, where the defense has to respect it.
Gillespie got out on Reitzel in a hurry. Bowen passed Amon and got the reverse to go.
Beautiful finish right there by Taylor Bowen. Just enough energy on that reverse layup for it to fall down.
Alabama shooting 52% from the field. Loose ball on the deck and last touch by Akpara.
Well, outstanding effort by Alabama fighting for the loose ball. Bediako gets a piece of it as they all hit the deck. And off of Akpara's foot, the ball back to Alabama.
Well, you knew there'd be a little bit of energy in the building because of Charles' return. I think Tennessee handled that early on.
Oh, they're handling it tremendously well. This is a 4-point game, and Tennessee has been doing a really good job of finding some positive things in their offensive sets. Every single basket that Alabama scores with Bediako, there's a lot of energy right there as Philon's able to find something in the screen roll action. But the poise of Tennessee is starting to settle in, particularly on the offensive end.
Second basket for Philon. He's got 4 points. And another three from Tennessee. Boswell starting to heat up here in Coleman Coliseum.
And there you see, this is a team that's trying to find an identity. And for many years, the identity has been on the defensive end for Rick Barnes' squad. I do think this team has a lot of offensive firepower. They're starting to show some of their ability right now.
Boswell or Gillespie out of bounds on that end line. It'll stay with Alabama with 7 on the shot clock. So Gillespie will take a seat for a moment. If you're just joining us, a couple of Alabama key contributors not playing tonight. Aiden Holloway, averaging almost 18 a game, is out with a wrist injury. Amari Allen, the freshman from Green Bay, Wisconsin, who's 5th in the league in rebounds, averaging over 11 points a game. He too is out. He's got a little leg injury he's dealing with. 3 on the shot clock. Reitzel, an awkward shot, hit the back of the rim, but another opportunity now for Alabama. Parr grabs that rebound. He just rips it away and then loses it. Boswell up to Abram, little 2-on-2 game. Now to Amon. Nate, too strong. Nate already has 1 3 tonight. Tennessee missed their first 5 3-pointers, but they've made 3 in a row. To Estrella, he can't convert. Rick Barnes just throws his arm up. Doesn't get much easier than that. Timeout on the floor. 3-point game here in Tuscaloosa. 3:12 to go. First half basketball.
Time report.
Sounds good, and you guys are right on it. It's the most points allowed in the paint by Tennessee in any half this year. Alabama's had their way down low. Part of the reason, maybe there's not enough guard play out without Aiden Holloway, who's out with the injury, with that wrist injury he's been battling. But Latrell Reitzel, the good news is, bad news is Holloway's out. The good news is for Alabama, you get Latrell Reitzel back, who's missed the last 3 conference games with an injury, and he has been a fantastic performer tonight with 11 points.
And Holloway is definitely a big contributor, 46% from 3-point land, and he can do a lot of that on his own off the bounce. As you see Philon right there off the bounce with the beautiful dribble to create a little bit of separation. Now, that's a big shot right there for Alabama. The second 3-pointer for them in the game, as they'll try to have to make sure they outpace things. It's a good high-low action right there between Carey and Akpara.
Good catch by Akpara to maintain possession. That's the 16th foul against Alabama. Jemison picks up his 3rd foul. He'll head back to the Alabama bench.
Good flash to the high post right there by Carey. The soft hands of Akpara catches that one. If he catches that one clean and lays it up, that's an easy and one. But you can see there's going to be a concerted effort by the Vols by utilizing their 2 bigs in a high-low situation.
Gillespie gets it to Carey. Threw it up to Okpara. Didn't waste any time.
Well, there you go right there, the big-to-big action. And Jalen Carey does a great job. As soon as he got that ball, he was decisive and put it at the rim for Okpara to finish. Well, Tennessee does a really good job of scoring in the paint. And that was almost like a turnaround jump hook by Carey. He puts it right in front of the rim, and his front court mate, Okpara, finishes up top.
Okpara averaging almost 7 points a game. His first basket does have 3 rebounds today. As LeBaron Philon steps to the free throw line. He's a 73% foul shooter on the year. 97 free throws coming into this game. That is leading Alabama. The next closest is 31 free throw attempts behind him.
He's crafty with the ball. He understands when the pressure is on him, he can draw fouls at a high rate, and then when he gets to the free throw line, he can make you pay. This game has had a different complexion of what you would expect, as Tennessee is known for finishing in the paint, and there you see a big finish right there by Jacoby Gillespie. Beautiful job taking on the contact and finishing with the left hand. Splits the double team, challenges the big, and with the extension and soft finish off the glass.
Sorrell gets hammered with that foul. That's his first, and that'll get Gillespie to the free throw line to try to complete this three-point opportunity. An 83% foul shooter on the year. He is 9th in the conference in free throw percentage. And kicks it out.
That's the recipe that Tennessee likes to play with. Is they're first in the conference in percentage of points in the paint with right under 50%. And Alabama, the last team in the conference for points in the paint. Today, it's been a little bit of change in this first half.
Philon. Pull-up jumper. He's starting to get it going now.
Well, you see how he set it up. He got into his defender and kept him on his hip. And then when he slammed on the brakes, the soft touch with the mid-range jumper.
Inside it goes to Carey. Good catch by Ament. Screen by Carey. Gillespie right to the rim, and another tough shot. Count it.
That's a phenomenal job by Jacoby Gillespie. He does a similar work as what Philon did on the other side. As Philon, there he is. He rejects that ball screen action, gets into the body right there of Abram, and that's how he's able to create some position. And here, Gillespie, the same thing. Gets into the body of Aiden Sherrill, takes on the contact, and enough strength to finish for the N1 opportunity.
Gillespie with 9 points and 3 assists here in the first half, and got that one to trickle through the cylinder.
Now, we talked about these two savvy guards. Their playmaking ability, not just for others, but you can see starting to turn it up in the last few possessions to get some point production for themselves.
Philon. Okpara rips that rebound away from Bediako.
High degree of difficulty on that shot by Philon. An opportunity right here by Tennessee to tie the game up.
They were down 10. They have cut it to 3 under a minute to go first half, and then another turnover, a near turnover by Tennessee, and it'll stay with the Volunteers. Tennessee has coughed it up 6 times, and Alabama's made them pay with 8 points off those turnovers.
Something they'll have to shore up as Alabama's been able to capitalize, but Tennessee has been really impressive as of late in the half court.
Millett comes out of there with the basketball.
It looks like Nate Oates is instructing Philon. Let's see if we can hold this one for the last shot of the half. Look for Alabama to go with a go screen action here just to create a little bit of confusion and let Philon operate.
Here's Ament. He's got a little bit of time. 1 second. Lets it go off the front of the rim. So Alabama led by as many as 10. Tennessee cuts it to 3 here at half. Nate Ament with 11 points. LeBaron Philon with 11, along with Reitzel, who also has 11. We thought this would be a good one. That's what we have. 39-36, our score at the break. Time to get you to the studio. Kevin, it's all yours. Take it away, buddy.
Dave, as we expected, a really fun one there in Tuscaloosa, 3-point.
The 157th meeting between Alabama and Tennessee. Just what we expected. A close one between two bitter conference rivals, two of the premier programs in college basketball. As you're watching the SEC on ESPN. Dave Neal alongside SEC legend and All-American Richard Hendricks. So glad you could join us. And obviously this was going to be a high-level basketball game. A lot of intensity and a lot of emotion with Charles Bediako coming back to Alabama. I thought Tennessee did a really nice job of kind of handling all that and cutting a 10-point lead down to 3.
I thought Tennessee has controlled the first half. There's a lot of energy in the building with the expectations of what Charles Bediako has been able to bring to the table. He's been productive, but Alabama in a 3-point lead. Tennessee is right there in striking distance.
We talked about the guards and how critical they were going to be tonight. What'd you make of the first half?
Well, I thought they were slow getting going, but Jacoby Gillespie really turned on the gas late in the first half, as well as LeBaron Philon, who did a lot of his work facilitating. But those strong individual moves that he was able to make down the stretch were significant for Alabama. Both of those two guards will have to see if they can impose their will early on in the second half to set the tone.
Yeah, both of them kind of almost like they got the sweat going and started to take over this game at times. Philon with those 11 points has 5 assists. 5 of the 6 Alabama assists off the hands of LeBaron Philon, and a quick whistle. It's going to go against Ament down in the paint.
They got tangled up as Aiden Sherrill was trying to set that ball screen and roll out of there. And a little too physical on that one by number 10 in orange. And Alabama's been able to get some good looks in their baseline out of bounds opportunities.
Not much of a good look here. Just had to throw it up in the air, and Sherrill chases it down.
Great defensive work by the Volunteers.
Bol Bowen. Shot clock in single digits. He takes it in the lane. Stripped out of there by Estrella.
Really good job. Tennessee active in the gaps and sliding their feet with their own ball defense.
It's just the 4th turnover by Alabama, and Tennessee takes advantage as Gillespie kisses it off the window.
Now, that's a great job right there by Nate Ament. As Gillespie had an opportunity to come up off of that screen, but he stayed at home, in a great find with the head-up pass there by Ament.
Ament with that rebound, his 3rd. Estrella, strong take. Bol Bowen the rebound. Millett in the corner. Sherrill blocked by Estrella, out of bounds. It'll stay with Alabama.
Really good shot blocking skills and verticality by J.P. Estrella. But an on-time and on-target pass by Nate Ament as Gillespie gets freed up on the baseline.
Philon, the SEC's leading scorer, 22 a game, has 11. And he has the basketball, working on Estrella, takes it in, blocked by Akpara. Starts the run out for Tennessee. Back to Ament. Pull up at the elbow, perfect. That's 6-10.
Well, this is a really big lineup that Tennessee has in the game, and Ament playing the 3. And Estrella and Akpara rotating over from the weak side. You see the length impacting things on the defensive end.
Oh, what a tough shot by Philon.
Just a crafty player. And he was able to pause as he slammed on the brakes with that deceleration move and get that one up on the glass. But Alabama's going to have to do a better job defensively as Tennessee is able to walk the ball up and take their time in the half-court set and find a quality look.
Gillespie.
Well, really good action, and Jacoby Gillespie set that up with the great pace. They throw inside to Ament, and he's able to take his time and come off that handoff, line it up from the outside.
Vols by 2. Phylon. That won't drop. Out of bounds. It'll be Tennessee basketball.
Well, the poise that Tennessee's playing, they run this get action right here to Jacoby Gillespie, and he sets it up with that subtle change of pace, gets on his horse, gets the handoff, and shoots it with a lot of confidence. Great job executing the plays for the Tennessee Vols.
Aiden Sherrill just picked up that foul. That's his third, so he'll head to the bench. And Charles Bediako back on the floor wearing number 14. Bediako with 8 points in the first half. His Alabama career high the 2 seasons he was here in Tuscaloosa was 15. He averaged just 6 points both as a freshman and a sophomore. Didn't take him long to surpass those numbers.
He's got a little experience as now he's back on the court. But I look more so as Aiden Sherrill, who's been extremely impactful for Alabama. Those 3 fouls are significant. He can play alongside Charles Bediako. And in these moments when you get a lot of minutes, as he's had in the first half, he has to figure out how to be efficient with his minutes in a new lineup.
Alley-oop, Akpar with a throw down.
Wow. And you can see Tennessee's dialing it up with this big-to-big action. J.P. Estrella, he gets that ball and immediately, it's like he's throwing a jump hook at the basket, and Alabama's ball watching.
Ament just rips that rebound away. Ament bumped in the paint, spins at the logo, got it. Boy, Tennessee is feeling it now.
Well, that's where you see that size, that 6'10". Ament able to regather his composure and elevate over the top. And there's LeBaron Phylon on the continuation, getting all the way to the basket for an and-one opportunity.
Phylon just says, wait a minute. Give me the basketball.
On the other side, Akpara says, give me the basketball with a beautiful big-to-big pass. J.P. Estrella going up top to the big man. The chemistry is starting to develop for the Tennessee Vols. The bigs have a really good job of finding each other, their passing ability, the spacing in the paint. And if you can have that type of interior tandem, it's going to be really good when it's hard to produce easy points from the outside.
Phylon converts the three-point opportunity. He's up to 16 points after that slow start. Gillespie on the other side with 15. Gets it to Ament. Guarded by Bediako. The young and the old. And a foul on the old. Ament. Slow to get up, but he will get up and get some free throws.
Really good decisive move right there by Nate Ament. He gets that back dribble on Bediako and tries to get a full head of steam. Gets a little bit of the body, draws the foul on Bediako and back to the line for 2.
First foul on Bediako. Nate Ament averaging 15 points, 6 rebounds, 76% foul shooter.
If you're Bediako, that's a situation you have to know the scout report is. Nate Ament with a quick first step. You're only shooting 27% from the three-point line. You want to make sure you give him some space and force him to shoot a shot over top of the contest. Giving him an angle plays into the freshman's advantage.
1 out of 2 for Ament. Here's Phylon. And a whistle underneath. Bediako and Akpara going at it. Foul will be on Felix Akpara. Good one going on in Coleman. 48-44 Vols. Sunday afternoon on ESPN and the ESPN app, a monumental matchup on the hardwood for women's basketball. Joyce Edwards at number 2 South Carolina hosts Michaela Blakes at undefeated and ranked number 5 Vanderbilt from Columbia. Coverage tips at 3 Eastern as we take a look at our wooden watch presented by Principal, 2 of the best in the game going at it. You saw Michaela Blakes. She is some kind of superstar.
Yeah, she's box office, and she gets it done in so many ways. A big-time scorer, and Joyce Edwards, very, very efficient for South Carolina. The Gamecocks coming off a loss at Oklahoma. It's going to be a big game with Shea Rouse Vanderbilt women's squad playing really good basketball right now.
20-0 on the year are the Commodores. Quick foul off the inbounds. Tennessee leads it by 4. The Vols shooting 53% as Akpara picks up his second foul. Tennessee, since about the 2-minute mark at the end of the first half, they're on a little 17-7 run right now.
Well, the pace of the game right now plays into the hands of Tennessee. As Alabama has struggled to get a lot of points in fast break situations, they're going to have to pick up the tempo and force Tennessee to have to play a little bit faster on the defensive end.
Reitzel goes baseline. They swing it around. Bowen for three. Rattles that one home.
Good defensive work by the Volunteers in their rotation, but Alabama finds the right man. And Taylor Bowen with a three-pointer for Alabama, the third of the game.
Yeah, that's crazy to think Alabama here in the second half is just 3 of 10.
I do think they found a lot of success in their screen roll action early on. And there's a really good look right there for Tennessee.
For the Volunteers, one of the best offensive rebounding teams in America. Carey keeping the possession alive. Ament in traffic, count it. Boy, Nate Ament has been a tough handle for Alabama.
Now that was a major league move. As you see him put this on the deck, and there he takes flight, takes on the bump, and holds the ball right there with that extension. Outstanding work by the freshman to finish through the contact. And one.
18 for Nate Ament with 5 rebounds and 2 assists. Ament coming off 17-5 against Kentucky in that loss in Knoxville last week.
The game is starting to slow down. And honestly, when you're playing a game of this magnitude, both teams fighting, need a win, as you can see them both scrapping for this loose ball. Tennessee players seem to be motivated to take on the challenge when you're going to have Bediako's presence in the interior.
Tennessee will have the basketball. Tennessee's won 4 straight in this series. Alabama looking for another impressive win. The third quad one, potentially, if they can pull it off. But right now, Tennessee's got a little something to say about that. Leading by 3. Here's Ament. Just takes it himself. That won't go. Tapped around. Bull takes it. Bowen with his 3rd rebound. Corner 3. Got it! Latrell Reitzel.
Well, the pace of this game has started to pick up for Alabama. And LeBaron Philon turning down a good shot for a great shot. Passes it over to Reitzel, and he lines up a corner 3. Freshman on freshman in this matchup.
Ament had it blocked by Bediako. Stays alive. 5 on the shot clock. Gillespie slices through the lane. Bediako the rebound. Stolen by Evans. Back to Gillespie. Ament.
A really good job by Tennessee slowing down in this possession. This is how they want to take advantage of the energy of Alabama, getting the long offensive set and finding a quality look.
Entry to Carey. Backs up Bediako and kisses it off the window.
And it doesn't get any much better than that. You talk about high quality. Jalen Carey carving out deep position in that paint right there and just going up with a muscle move.
Byline. 18 for LeBaron.
Now that was crafty. Now LeBaron Philon gets all the way into the paint. He comes to that deceleration. He doesn't put the second foot down after the pivot. And that's where he's able to hold it there and finish. Beautiful job.
And a tie up in the paint and a foul against Alabama. That will go against London Jimison. That'll be his 4th.
With the energy in the building, both of these teams are starting to fill each other out. They're finding a little bit of success in many areas. The screen roll action. Tennessee is finding success when they go swing into the get action, which is a handoff when Gillespie comes to the ball in the middle of the court. And when they're able to do that, it's causing a little bit of confusion for Alabama on the defensive end. On the flip side, the Tide has started to pick up the pace offensively, getting some easy attempts in transition.
Both teams shooting over 50% from the field. Gillespie Another rebound for Tennessee, keeps it alive. Abram will hand it off to Ament. Estrella back to Ament. Nate at the window, get a little bump. Tennessee bench wanted a foul on the bump, but Ament will take the basket.
So impressive. At 6'10", as he's able to do so many things on the court, it's like a guard. And there's another elite level guard in LeBaron Filon. Able to draw another foul. But you can see, look at 6'10", you go between the legs, put it on the deck, back to the left on the 2-bounce dribble, pulls up with the soft touch over the top. You know, he can get any shot that he wants. It's just a matter of him flipping the switch and trying to take over the game, and you're starting to see a little bit of that right now.
You said something in the first half that just made me think of that. At some point, he's going to realize that he is the go-to guy.
Well, it takes time. And oftentimes when you're a freshman that's coming right in a talented program, as Tennessee has been consistently in recent memory, you come in and oftentimes you'll defer to others. But he's a guy that has to get a lot of shots, and he's starting to play so efficiently that the volume of shots that he gets allows the other players to play with a little bit more freedom because you have to respect him. But in the new year, when you switch over into conference play, freshmen grow up, and none are growing up any more than this player. Amen.
Estrella on that low block, left it a little bit short.
Alabama's offense in the half court's got to get a little bit more flow. It's been stagnant. It's creating turnovers for Tennessee.
Gillespie quickly back down the floor. Abram for three. Got it!
And there's the defense, the offense. And Abram getting an easy look.
Tennessee looked a little bit like Alabama on that possession.
Well, it's a great time to shoot the three.
Filon, step back. Oh, is that nasty? Oh!
Well, no better time to shoot the three right there for LeBaron Filon. And he's a magician with the ball, and there he is. He has his defender on a string and lines one up.
Man, what a night of hoops.
Well, it's been the back-to-back action of both of these teams, and Tennessee's getting some work done on the defensive end. And when they're doing that, they're able to get the turnover and go all the way to the other end. And Amari Abrams lining one up from the corner. But you talk about elite ball handling and playmaking ability. LeBaron Filon Jr. lining it up for outside. We got a good one.
Next Saturday, guys.
Thank you, boys. Here's a good one, 57-57. Tennessee trailed by as many as 10 early in this game, but they fought back to within 3 at halftime. Gillespie again fires, misses everything this time. It'll be Alabama basketball. Gillespie now 2 of 8 from behind the arc. Bama's made 5 straight shots.
Both of these teams have started to figure some things out on the offensive end. The execution of Tennessee has been really good in recent possessions. Alabama starting to find their flow with a quicker pace. Not a good shot right there by Latrell Wrightsell Jr. early in the shot clock.
I will say this about Wrightsell. Didn't play 3 games. Had a week off. Alabama has not played. Neither team has played since last Saturday. But he has produced 14 points in the start tonight, and without Aiden Holloway in the backcourt, that is monumental.
Well, it's how he's been able to get his points. And he was successful early on when Tennessee had to respect the bigs over top of getting easy baskets with the floaters in the mid-range. His 2 3-pointers came off of the pass when Filon created. When he tries to get a little bit more off the bounce, coming off the screen roll and shooting quick, then the efficiency goes down. But there is some big-time efficiency right there by 10 in orange. Nate Ament growing up right in front of us.
He has now matched his young career high of 23 points. He has 2 threes tonight. And Nate Ament is putting on a show. This is a guy that just had 7 field goal attempts in their last game against Kentucky. He is now 8 of 15 tonight.
Well, I was in the gym early, and several NBA scouts were in the arena, and they said they were here to check out Nate Ament. And here he is, not disappointing with a big-time performance and poised to finish strong.
Mediaco gets it to Millett. Little scoop shot, layup is good.
Really good job. He comes off that curl with a full head of steam. Ament not wanting to pick up a foul.
Abram Missed it all. A little too quick on that shot.
You can see the get action handoff right there. Houston Millette takes one quick bounce as he turns that corner into quick layup. Ahmed trying not to pick up a cheap foul. Good decision on the defensive end with a beautiful finish by Millette.
Boswell back on the floor for Amari Abram. Gillespie, the transfer in from Maryland. Off to Carey, the transfer from Vanderbilt, who looks like he might have twisted an ankle. He's got some sort of leg issue back. He's still on the baseline, but he can't get up. Boswell right to the rim, and a foul against Sorrell. Well, that looks scary, but Jalen Carey is still down on the baseline, and now he's grabbing that left knee.
And not much of a foul on that shot blocking attempt by Aiden Sorrell. It was the off arm of Boswell that created the contact, but you got two Tennessee Vols on the deck on the baseline. I hope they can both get back to their feet.
Boswell favoring that right leg. Meanwhile, Carey looks like he is in worse condition on that baseline.
Let's hope he's okay as he's getting some attention. Such a physical presence. A really good player that's made a lot of high IQ plays.
The training staff down there led by Chad Newman of Tennessee. He's been with this program forever, 30 years now.
A tough player as he's starting to put a little bit of weight on it.
6'8", 270-pounder. Started his career James Madison, then went to Vanderbilt.
And he tried to go right into the body of Bediako with some power. Oh, and a little hyperextension there on that knee. Boswell with the missed dunk attempt.
Boy, he came down on that right leg awkwardly as well. Boswell will stay in to attempt these free throws. Crowd still not happy that there was a foul against Aiden Sorrell, who just picked up his fourth, by the way.
That's a huge foul. Sorrell had a lot of verticality with the off arm of Boswell, and the extension created the contact.
Is that when you'd say in the gym, ball don't lie?
Exactly.
Right. Boswell will try to get 1 out of 2. And he can't. Phylon, step back 3. Short. Millette the rebound.
And Millette makes all the hustle plays for Alabama. If you need a loose rebound.
Bediako with a jam and a foul.
That's where you see some improvement in the game of Charles Bediako. They throw the ball to him in the mid-post and makes the quick spin as he feels the physicality from the backside and goes all the way to the basket with the finish.
Bediako now in double figures in his debut. Second debut, I should say, with Alabama basketball. And gets that one to rattle in. I don't know what he expected in his return to Alabama, but I think this has gone better than pretty much anybody might have expected.
Well, you have to be honest. You have to expect a lot from someone who's had reps against professional players. And he stepped right into the game seamlessly, making a big impact on both ends of the court. You know, the experience that you have when you're playing multiple games against high-level competition will definitely make you more poised to be able to do so now.
This young man, Jacoby Gillespie, is putting on a show himself tonight. He's up to 17 with 4 assists. tied up again at 62. This is our 7th tie. 6 of them have come here in the second half.
Well, the question for this Tennessee team, they've been trying to figure out their identity of how to win games. So this last 9 minutes of this one will be tightly contested. Who's going to step up and make the play?
Williamson won't go. Rebound Gillespie. Little mismatch, and Gillespie steps back, and it's short. Aim it there for the rebound. Boswell for 3. That's no good. Bowen will try for 3 again. Millett,
once again,
he has been a difference maker, keeping possessions alive.
Five offensive rebounds for Houston Millett, and they've been out of the area. Has been able to track them down on these loose balls, and there he is, comes up with a foul and going to the free throw line to see if he can take advantage of the moment to take the lead.
First foul on Gillespie. Akpara will head to the bench. And that one will kick out. Nate Oates says there was a foul in there. No such luck. Amen. 1-1 coming up for Tennessee is a foul called against
Bediako.
Yeah, on a little hold.
It was a really good duck in and a spirited duck in by J.P. Estrella. And that's how you got to play the game. When you're a post player, you need to constantly consider putting pressure on the defense by making yourself a threat, not even just for the ball, but you post up to see if you can engage the defender. And there he is, does a good job with the physicality and the spirited duck in of drawing the foul on Bediako.
And Estrella will head to the free throw line. JP converts on the first one, 71% at the line. Well, this is our SEC Network Tuesday night men's basketball doubleheader. Blue Cane and number 21 Georgia host Jacoby Gillespie in Tennessee at Steckman Coliseum, 7 Eastern, followed by LeBaron Philon and this Alabama team hosting Mark Mitchell, who had a buzzer beater for the Tigers of Missouri today, coming away from this very building in Tuscaloosa. Both games also available on the ESPN app.
A lot of good action around the league, a league wide open. Who's going to be able to put together a string of wins to give them a good position to win the SEC?
Philon working on Estrella and a whistle. Estrella picks up the foul. That'll be his third.
You can see Philon, he cuts off the foot space of Estrella, and that's how he's able to draw the foul. And his shifty ability and the capabilities that he has to finish with both hands, it really puts a lot of pressure on the defense to be decisive, and it puts you at bay from not playing too physical because he can draw the foul to get to the free throw line.
Philon again leads this team in free throw attempts by a substantial margin, 73% at the line. LeBaron, 24 points. He is a perfect 8 out of 8 at the free throw line. 13 games of 20-plus points this year. Now, of course, last year, different dynamic in the backcourt with Alabama. It is his show now.
Absolutely. 8 for 9 from the free throw line as Philon misses.
Ament spins and fires. Rebound taken out of there by Taylor Bowen. Philon back the other way. Throws it up for Bediako. Bediako cannot convert, and a push against Alabama. The crowd thought there was a foul on his catch. Tennessee has the lead. We have 7:34 to go in a one-point game. Charles Bediako, who sued the NCAA for denying his request to play his final year of eligibility for Alabama, even though he signed a two-way professional contract in the NBA with the Spurs, did never play in an NBA game, won a restraining order, and here he is.
Well, as expected, you know, with the professional experience, he has been impactful early and often for Alabama in this game, particularly in the things that he does well, which is finishing at the rim and rim protecting. And he's not a skilled player as far as what he's able to do with the ball in his creativity of scoring on the low post. But at 7 foot and with a long wingspan, he's been able to finish off of alley-oops and dump-offs and also be a rim protector. But with 7:34 in the game, it's been a lot of adjustments from Tennessee. They've done a tremendous job of settling this game down. And they're going to have to see if they can continue to find a defensive end to lean on, if they can close this one out on the road.
So Bediako was given a 10-day restraining order on Tuesday. He will have another full hearing this Tuesday morning that will really determine if he can continue to play for Alabama this year or not. But in the meantime, he is suiting up here with the Tide, and it's worked out quite well.
Well, listen, you know, as the college landscape has allowed a lot of things to take place, and Bediako felt as if he could take advantage of the moment to get back in the collegiate game, as the precedent was set by many other players to come from the D-League or even international ranks and play back in the NCAA. And Nate Oates felt it was the time to add someone to his front line, and Bediako is here, and he's delivering.
Like Nate Oates told us today, like his argument is there are so many European players who have been playing professionally for a number of seasons that just show up and start playing. So why are we penalizing the Americans playing in the G League professionally as well?
Well, there's a professional right there in Nate Oates and what he's been able to do. But listen, there's a lot of rules to the game that need to be adjusted. And for me, in many ways, that might be one right there that needs to open back up, is that freshmen should have the opportunity to go directly from high school to the NBA. And Nate Oates is a player that would have had that type of consideration had the rule been there. But now with the new landscape in the college game, you have the opportunity to be compensated. And players know that this is the moment that you can be compensated better than you can in the international game, better than you can in the G League. So they're trying to get to the moment so they can capitalize the situation. Now, when it comes to the international ranks, you have a lot of players that are perceived to have been played professionally. But in many ways, it's not necessarily the highest level of professional. And the guys that are now coming back from the G League, they're finding their way back into the NCAA. And maybe, quite honestly, not been as impactful as people thought they would be. Now, Bediako is a player who was formerly an all-SEC performer in the conference tournament in 2023 in the all-tournament team. So he's a little bit better than the others. But the question has to be asked, why are you available in the moment where you have a market to take your talents in many of the places in the professional ranks?
Tennessee could care less whether Bediako's back on the floor or not. They are up by 5 on the road. Nate Oates getting a little frustrated.
You talked to head coach Rick Barnes. It did not change his scouting report and preparation one bit. You know, this is a team under his tutelage that likes to lean on toughness and what they do on the defensive end. And then, quite frankly, they might have had a little bit more motivation to know that you have a guy who's been in the G League coming back to play a little bit more of a spirited game. They've made the answer right now, and they find themselves up 7 late in the ball game.
These are two of the best teams in college basketball going toe-to-toe in their first meeting of 2026. Well, Bowen gets it to Reitzel, and a foul on the interior. And a hold against Tennessee. That's going to go against Dwayne Brown, the second. You know, we're talking about these two teams. Tennessee, Alabama, and Houston are the only 3 schools to make the last 3 Sweet 16s. Tennessee, Alabama, and Duke are the only 3 schools to make the last 2 Elite 8s. Just to give you an idea how good these two teams have been the last few years.
And they have the potential to go back to those levels. And this year they're trying to figure out who they are, but a lot of room to grow.
This Tennessee team still trying to find their way. They come into this one 12-6, 2-3. They've lost 3 of their last 5. Over the last 6 seasons, Alabama and Tennessee among the elite in all of college basketball. 5-point game. Alabama needs a couple of stops here. 6:15 to play. They get the stop there. Bediako comes away with the basketball. The 7-footer will take it across the midcourt stripe. Phylon. Millett.
Job by Akpara moving his feet.
Nowhere for Phylon to go. Kicks it back to Millett.
Get up, get up, get up!
Nice take by Bowen. He's fouled and heads to the line.
And a strong drive by Taylor Bowen. He used that shot fake in the corner to give him a little bit of separation and put it on the deck. And he takes it right into the teeth of the defense of Tennessee and finishes to cut into this lead for the Volunteers.
First field goal for Alabama. It's about 9:55 to go. J.P. Estrella will check back in. Out goes Dwayne Brown. J.P. made his first career start tonight for Tennessee. Gillespie and Ament have combined for 46 points for Tennessee. Phylon and Reitzel have combined for 38 for Alabama.
A lot of time left in this game as the energy starting to come into the building for Alabama.
Ament working on Millett. They can't stop him tonight. They cannot stop him. Ament with a career high, 27.
Well, you can tell he's worked on that move. He understands he gets in that mid post. He has the advantage.
And a foul on Estrella. That'll be his 4th. Boy, Tennessee starting to get some foul trouble. Boswell has 4, Abram with 4. Now Estrella joins that party.
Here's Nate Ament. He gets in that mid post and he's operating at 6'10". He just turns right around. He doesn't even see Millett in front of him. He's rim focused. And he knocks that down in the mid range.
Phylon at the free throw line. Now 9 of 10 at the stripe. Boy, we have a great Big Monday doubleheader for you on ESPN and the ESPN app. Chance to see Wooden Award frontrunner Cameron Boozer leading number 5 Duke as they host Ryan Conwell and 23rd ranked Louisville. I'll come your way at 7 o'clock Eastern. Then Koa Pete, undefeated number 1 Arizona. A unanimous number 1 Arizona. And Provo to take on A.J. Devonta and number 13 BYU.
A lot of really good freshmen in the game this year. They'll be on display. Arizona, a balanced team. A moving screen on Akpara. Ball going back to Alabama. A big call.
That'll be the 3rd on Akpara.
Akpara tries to shape up that screen. He did a really good job as the separation was already made. He could have rolled out of there and easily created a little bit more of an advantage. You know, sometimes as a big man, you take pride in your screens and you want to be a little physical. And that time it worked against Akpara.
Phylon. Oh, Bowen, high arching shot over Estrella, didn't go. Akpara saves it.
Tough shot for Alabama. And Bowen, as Nate Oates is yelling at Phylon, keep the ball and go to work. Bowen shooting a fadeaway in the corner.
Phylon and Nate Ament going at it. Those two guys probably have a good chance they'll see each other on the next level.
Most definitely. But that's a situation right there. If you're Alabama on the defensive end, with the mismatch down low, you have to come over and give LeBaron Phylon some support. Nate Ament has been torching you to the deal of 27 points on 10 for 18 shooting. You've got to make the adjustment and get the ball out of his hands and make someone else beat you down the stretch.
Ament 5 of 7 at the line. 7 rebounds, 27 points. 6'10", 207-pounder out of Manassas, Virginia.
And extremely poised as he steps to the line and knocks down 2 big free throws.
Terrell. Phylon guarded by Boswell. Will switch it off. Phylon to the rim, kicks it to the corner. Reitzel, good ball fake, buys himself some time and can't convert. And a foul on Vol Bowen.
A really good look for Alabama as that shot fake for Reitzel gave him some space. He wished he had that one back. And the foul there on Vol Bowen on the offensive rebound attempt. Free throw shooting will be at a premium for both of these teams down the stretch. Alabama dropped a big game here at home against Texas earlier in the SEC season. Free throw shooting was not their friend in the late moments.
Tennessee 14th in the conference at 69% at the free throw line. So Millette to the bench, Bediako back on the floor.
Nate Oates electing to go with a little bit more size in this lineup. As you got 6'10" Taylor Bowen, 6'11" Aiden Sherrill, and Charles Bediako.
Estrella keeps it alive, back to Gillespie. Great tap back by Estrella to keep that possession for Tennessee. Gillespie, left hand. Oh, what a shot!
Phenomenal finish by Jacoby Gillespie.
Phylon, in and out.
These are the moments and Alabama's going to have to figure out a way to manufacture some points. You're not able to lean on having 2 of your really good contributors this season with Amari Allen and Aiden Holloway out of the roster, but Tennessee playing poised in this half-court execution. But I look for the ball to go to Ament to operate.
Gillespie high off the window. Reitzel with the rebound, off to Phylon. Sherrill will line up a 3. Got it! The big man burying it from the corner.
Well, he has that capability at 6'11". He came to Alabama known for his outside shooting touch. He's developed into a little bit better low post player, but now he's starting to have the total package.
The confidence to take one. With 3 minutes to go in this one, pulls Alabama within 4. The Vols trying to hang on the road in a hostile environment.
Well, Tennessee has been able to get it going. The circus dribble and the circus shot by Jacoby Gillespie, but Alabama coming down in transition. The big man, Aiden Sherrill, with the answer with the corner 3. We got a good one in Tuscaloosa.
A packed Coleman Coliseum on a whiteout. Tennessee leading by 4 on the road. And kind of overlooked in this whole week with Charles Bediako making his return was the fact that we had 2 really good teams. And for Tennessee, I'm not going to say it was a must-win, but a needed win. They've dropped 3 of their last 5. How have they handled everything today?
Well, they've handled it tremendously well. This is a team that's looking for an identity, particularly when it comes to finishing games. They've been able to hold Alabama to 42% in the second half. But it's under 3 minutes will they be able to have enough energy to hold on the road.
Amen. Guarded by Vol Bowen. Amen spins. Bediako with a rebound. That is the 3rd rebound to go with 13 points for Charles. Phylon. Cut off at the baseline.
It's the point where Phylon's going to have to assert himself. He's been the offensive player to bring all of the action.
Knocked out of bounds. Deflected by Tennessee. And that'll get us to a timeout. 2:16 to go. 5 on the shot clock when we come back. 4-point Tennessee lead.
Barnes has 3 3 dribbles and a shot to try to win this game. Mashak's got to go. He will fire. Mashak wins it.
I don't do that without my team.
Game of the year in college basketball. Buzzer beater for Tennessee.
Well, I stupidly asked the Alabama folks about that game last year, and the reactions I got.
The appeal by the home coach has been unsuccessful, so therefore we got the ball out of bounds on the sideline for Alabama.
By the way, Alabama thought there might have been a hook and hold. They lost the appeal, meaning they lose a timeout. So no change in terms of what's happening on the other end of the floor. Nate Oates didn't agree with it, but nonetheless. But that game last year, Alabama, it was a devastating loss for the Tide. They played so well that game, with the exception of the final 2 seconds.
Yes, under control for the entire game against a really good Tennessee team. Just not able to finish it out in the last 30 seconds. You know, some teams have been a thorn in the side of their opponents, and Tennessee in recent moments has really been able to take advantage of Alabama.
Bailon misses everything. Gillespie with the basketball. 2 minutes to go in this one. 4-point Tennessee lead. They trailed by 10 in the first half. Estrella to Akpara. Nate Abent with a career-high 29.
Really good false motion on those flex cuts, but this is what Tennessee wants. Gillespie.
Oh, he just kicked it out of bounds, and this has been kind of an issue. Some turnovers late in the game.
He's exactly done that. It's been a mystery for Tennessee. He's been a big-time player, but in the money time, he must value the basketball and make good decisions.
Bailon with 1:30. LeBaron. Nowhere to go. Gets it to Sherrill. 12 on the shot clock. Bowen for 3. No good. Estrella with a big rebound.
And good defensive effort by J.P. Estrella, sliding his feet against Phylon.
Tennessee try to take up some of this clock.
Nate Oates is telling his team to apply more pressure. This is the play for the game right here for both squads.
1 minute to go. Ament working on Millette. Baseline jumper, in and out. Estrella, offensive rebound, goes back strong, block. Akpara leaves it alone. Timeout taken by Millette before he got out of bounds.
Unbelievable. It's been the effort of Houston Millette all night long, and there he is tracking down another loose ball for a timeout. J.P. Estrella with the offensive rebound gets it rejected. Alabama gets the timeout, but will they have enough time to complete the comeback?
They are reviewing the last out-of-bounds play to see if Houston Millette was truly in bounds when he called timeout. Doug Chow's over there looking at the monitor. And there he is in bounds and calling the timeout with a foot on the floor in possession of the basketball.
Yeah. I think tightrope the sideline, was able to get a completed pass on that one right there. Beautiful footwork and awareness of Houston Millette. Seems that this officiating crew must be discussing what's the proper time on the clock as they make an adjustment.
You know, I don't know if Alabama's going to win this game or not, but Houston Millette has made some winning plays for sure for the Crimson Tide.
Well, 5 offensive
After review,
rebounds.
the challenge by the visiting coach has been unsuccessful, so therefore it's going to be Alabama's ball on the sideline.
Well, regardless, for Alabama in this situation, they need a bucket, a stop, and a bucket. And with plenty of time, 45 and 9/10 seconds remaining in the ball game. If I'm Alabama, I elect to see if I can get all the way to the basket for a speedy 2 and then play some defense. Look for Phylon to try to get downhill.
Reitzel kicks it back to Phylon for a deep 3. That one spins out.
Now Alabama's got to consider getting in foul mode and quickly.
27 seconds.
Got to foul quickly if you're Alabama.
20 seconds. And finally a foul by Millette. Nate Oates is like, why are we not fouling anybody? He just threw his arms up and said, are you kidding me?
Really good job by Tennessee. They're executing to beat the pressure and get in the half court and spread it out with their heads up and make really good passes to kill time.
Boswell misfires.
That's a big miss right there. Up by 4. Still a 2-possession game here. Alabama's got to work quickly.
Again, free throws for Tennessee. They are 68%.
Plenty of time to elect to take the quick 2 as they're trying to run you off the line.
That one's blocked. Akpara got up there to block the ball. Bowen. Gillespie now. He'll be fouled with 7.8 seconds. And how about Tennessee?
Man, this is a character win
Oh,
right here.
my goodness,
for the
what a
Tennessee
win.
Vols. A gut check to come in on the road. And Rick Barnes knows that he has a quality team that has a lot of room to grow. And tonight, they grew up tremendously, particularly number 10 in orange, Nate Amen.
You know, I'll walk in the back tunnel before the game tonight, and the door was open to the locker room. Guys were out here shooting, and I go in and see Coach Barnes, who's just a wonderful, wonderful human being. And we talked for 5 minutes, and I left, and I was like, we had a nice conversation. And I'm like, he's so calm. And it makes me realize, you know, he's been doing this for 39 years as a head basketball coach. Bo Bowen, one final opportunity. Here's Phylon with a deep 3, and that one's off the mark. So Tennessee rallies from a 10-point deficit to win it by 6, and they stretch their winning streak over the tie to 5. They have not done that since a stretch where they won 9 in a row back in 1968 through 1972. And that man, Nate Amen, goes for 29 on 10 of 20 from the field.
Well, he brought his A game for Nate Amen. And he really did a tremendous job all throughout the second half with the clutch buckets. But Tennessee with a gritty win on the road in Tuscaloosa, and it keeps them in the pace in the race for the SEC.
Final score from Coleman Coliseum. Tennessee evens their conference record 3-3. Alabama 3-3. 79-73 the final tally. So for Richard Hendricks, the rest of our exceptional ESPN basketball crew, I'm Dave Hill saying so long from the capstone here in Tuscaloosa.